Welcome back to Man Now Sports. Let's recap that Thunder OKC game. Man, NBC put on a good Sunday. This is their first Sunday night. What is it called? Basketball night on Sunday or something like that. Sunday. Well, I don't know. For the NFL, it was football night in America, basketball night in America. I think that's what they call it. They put on a good one for their first one. It was man, like I said in my last video when I was talking about the All Stars, they had a segment of the Michael Jordan interview. They had Caitlin Clark join the set and pregame. They had a star-studded cast of analysts calling the game and doing the pregame as well. All of that was good, and they put together two. They announced the All Stars as well, and they put together two really good matchups together. Lakers Knicks in Madison Square Garden, and then a rematch of the Western Conference Finals with Thunder and OKC, which is the last two MVPs. Well, actually, the last 2 years, both of these guys finished either one or two in the MVP race. So, and they went Game 7 in the playoffs. So it's a lot of playoff implications with this game. And it was Jokic for second game back. So I know my thumbnail is kind of like clowning a little bit, but it's not a clown situation. I mean, I will say it's ironic that me and SGA both, while I was watching the game, eating barbecue chicken, SGA was, I got naked chicken bones sitting here. I'm sitting here eating barbecue chicken, watching the game, and SGA was eating barbecue chicken on the court. I mean, I thought that was fascinating. I thought that was like poetic justice, man. But yeah, it was a barbecue chicken alert for sure. And let's kind of talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly from the game. It wasn't a lot of ugly. I think both teams played very well. Let's start with Denver first. Obviously, their best player, Jokic, is just coming back from injury. It was a knee injury, so he's trying to work his way back into it, and he's on a bit of a minutes restriction. He didn't play above 30 minutes. He played 29 minutes tonight, and there was a stretch where, the game kind of got away from him a little bit, and you would think Jokic would be on the floor at that time, but they had him on the bench. And you could tell that this is probably a minutes restriction thing. So OKC can't get too happy about this win. This is a win that you just throw away. And Denver, they probably it's some stuff they probably can take away from this. It's some stuff they probably can take away from it. So it's not a huge deal. I mean, for what it's worth, they did come in Denver, which is a tough place to play, given the altitude and all of that stuff, man. So they did come in Denver and have a pretty good showing. And while there was down some players, no Caruso, no Jalen Williams, which is their second best player and was an all-star last year. No AJ Mitchell, which I think is really good and is going to be really key down the stretch of this season and into the playoffs. And they was missing another player too. I just can't remember, but for sure, Williams, Caruso, and AJ Mitchell are three big pieces. But on the other end, Denver was missing Aaron Gordon, Cam Johnson, and what's the guy from Kansas, the shooting guard from Kansas. They was missing here, Christian Braun. They was missing Christian Braun too. So they both teams wasn't full. Oh, and Aaron Gordon. Did I say Aaron Gordon? Aaron Gordon for sure. Aaron Gordon, Cam Johnson, Christian Braun. But missing players plus Jokic not being all the way back, it is what it is. So you can't take that much from it. The game was pretty much even if you look at, I mean, OKC gained an advantage early in the first quarter. They won the first quarter. They won the third quarter. That was huge. The third quarter was huge because Denver went on a run and got it down to like maybe 2 points or 4 points. And then OKC went on a huge run. They only outscored them by 9 in that quarter though, but they went on a 12-0 run, which kind of was like a gut punch. And then Denver won the fourth quarter. Denver won the fourth quarter and pretty much played virtually even the second quarter. So that first and third quarter was really important for OKC. They played good. They hit shots, but when you really look at it, it was a very evenly matched game. Leading scores for OKC was SGA with 34, and then Payton Watson was matching it. He ended up with 29. Right, he ended up with 29 while being a player who wasn't touching the ball as much as Jokic and Murray was. Jokic and Murray was touching the ball every play almost, and Payton, once he got it, just made the best of it. He was kind of in that Michael Porter Jr. Role where if I touch it, it's going up. You know what I mean? He was like that, but different from Michael Porter, because Michael Porter, if he touched it, it's going up, but it's mostly going up from three. Payton Watson, he was shooting threes, catch and shoot style, but he also was going to the hole and and getting layups, man. So and especially running on the fast break, man. So that was big. I mean, they had leading scores that put up 30 plus points, or right at 30 points with Watson and SGA. But here's where a little bit of separation came. As far as your second score, they got 27 from Wallace, who was just really hot from three. He hit 7 threes. That's 27. So you would want someone to match that. And being that Jokic was on a slight minutes restriction on top of, I mean, maybe he, the minutes restriction plus it seems like he don't want to go all the way for Jokic ball yet. If you can, last game he only had 5 assists. This game, he really didn't have a lot of assists until like late, and he ended up with 8, but it really felt like a 5 assist game. So he's not really dominating. I didn't see him play point forward a lot. A couple of times he did get a steal or a rebound and go coast to coast up the court. I seen that maybe 2 times, maybe 3. But for the most part, he wasn't taking the ball out of the net after made baskets and running point. He was leaving that to Murray, who ended up with 12 assists. Like I always told people, Murray is more than capable of running his offense and distributing the ball for everyone. Right? He can play straight real point guard. All right. And what that does when Jokic is very healthy, if they continue to do this, Jokic will get 5 to 6 assists because he's going to get doubled a lot when he's in scoring position. The double is going to come and the ball is going to move. Either he's going to get assists or a hockey assist. Right. So we shouldn't be that much concerned with Jokic's assists. We should be more concerned with the amount of assists the team get. And they got 29 assists. They got more assists than the Thunder. So the ball is moving. And it don't necessarily have to be Jokic just doing one. I mean, 12 assists from Murray. He's been doing it the whole time he's down. So I think they got to shift a little bit. And I think everyone is trying to adjust to that, because the second score that Payton Watson needed should have either came from Jokic or Murray. And in a perfect world, if Jokic was all the way back and conditioned and wasn't on the minutes restriction, you would think that he would give you that. You actually would think Jokic would be the one giving you the 35 points to match what SGA did, and what Payton gave you would have just been additional as a second score, and then Murray would have been, hey, I'm setting the table, I'm getting assists and stuff like that. I'm not going to jack up a lot of shots. Murray's not playing in the primary scorer role right now. He's playing in the point guard role that's trying to get his buckets, call his own number and pick his spots, which is what I would want if I was the Denver coach, if I was Denver Nuggets, right? So they just got to figure that part out. They're going to be a dangerous team, especially when Aaron Gordon come back. They're going to be very dangerous. So it would behoove OKC. They got to play each other 3 more times this season. It will behoove them to try to freaking make a statement and put their foot on their neck every time they play them. And it still ain't going to mean nothing for the playoffs. I mean, because they can beat the Thunder. They can beat the Thunder. Can beat the Nuggets 4 times out of 4, and it's still gonna be a dogfight if they see them in the playoffs, right? So whoever win these regular season matchups, it just ain't gonna matter. It really is really not gonna matter. So OKC Thunder fans don't get too happy, and Denver Nuggets fans don't get too down. But let's get to OKC because it was a BTA situation. Yeah, and I mean they controlled the game from pretty much the first 2 minutes. They kind of took control, got a little 6-point lead, 8-point lead, you know what I'm saying? But they kept it between 6 and 8, or 6 to 10 points. They kept the lead between that for a while until they had that little barrage of threes in the third quarter. But yeah, once they got the little 6-point lead, they kept it. I don't think they ever trailed after that. They got their 6-point lead and kept it, man. So you got to tip your hats off to them for coming in to Denver ready to play like that. And this would have been crazy for them to come in and lose to the Nuggets when the Nuggets not full strength, don't have Aaron Gordon, and plus Jokic is on the minutes restriction, and you got a average night from Jamal Murray. Like, it would have been a shame for them to lose this. So, I mean, but if you look at everything, the Nuggets team assist wise got more than OKC. The rebounds was dead even. That's a place where the Denver Nuggets was struggling when Val and Valanciunas and Jokic both was out. They struggled with rebounds. So they both was even 39-39. OKC got more offensive rebounds, so that was thing. You know, they was even with turnovers until late. But you know, OKC turned them over a little bit more. You know, turned them over 17 times. That's a lot of turnovers. Now, mind you, that was averaging below 10 turnovers a game when Jokic was out. And I really do think with Jamal Murray being a real point guard, when he has the ball in his hand and he's making decisions, I really do think it puts so many other people in their natural spaces. And then plus whenever Jamal Murray comes off the ball and Payton does something with it or somebody else, like, I think people are more in natural spaces when that happens and they turn the ball over less. Like, I'm serious. Like, they played 15, 16 games without Jokic, and they was averaging about 14 turnovers with Jokic on the floor. But when Jokic went out, their turnovers went from 14 to like 8 a game. The assists dropped slightly. I think they was averaging 29 assists, which they got 29 tonight. They was averaging 29 assists with Jokic. They went down to 27 without Jokic. So they were still getting the assists. One game they had like 38 assists, though. They was doing phenomenal with ball distribution. But assists dropped slightly, but the turnovers dropped dramatically, almost in half. And that's coming from a true point guard handling the ball and making decisions and having people in places where they feel natural. When Jokic do his thing and they're trying to get into all these split actions, they get Jokic with the ball at the top of the key on the elbow, and then they run a split action with their guards, and it's just, you got to have two guys at the corner, and depending on how they guard that split action, Jokic might just skip past it. Like, and he turned the ball over probably 3 times just off trying to pass it to the opposite side of the court off a skip. I mean, it was literally like one of them, like 2 of them just went straight out of bounds. And it's Russ. It's his second game back, but like, how many turnovers did he have? Jokic had 6 turnovers. You know how many Jamal Murray had with 12 assists? Now, mind you, 8 assists. He really had 5. He got 3 late. The game was already out. It was 3 of those assists he got. The game was already over. Right? So he really only had like 4 or 5 assists when the game was, in nitty gritty and that was in it. Third quarter, he had about 4 assists. He ended up with 8 though. But 8 assists and 6 turnovers is insane. Now, when you look at his point guard, He had 12 assists. Guess how many turnovers he had? One. He had one turnover. Bad shooting night though, 4-16. So now how and when and where he was getting his shots from without Jokic being in the lineup changes. So now he got to make an adjustment. Now everyone's got to make an adjustment because Jokic is also trying to make an adjustment. Like, okay, I don't want to disrupt what they had going on without me. Payton emerged. He's playing like a freaking all-star. Jamal Murray played and elevated himself to all-star and also probably going to get consideration for first or second team, at least third team All-NBA. So he's playing like an All-NBA performer and an all-star performer. And Peyton Watson's playing like an all-star performer, and I still ain't even got Aaron Gordon back. So he's trying to adjust as well. Like, okay, do I really need to still play hero ball? Do I want to still play hero ball? I'm not going to get MVP this year. It's just too late for me to try to get MVP. So do I really want to play hero ball, or do I want to let the point guard be the point guard? Because remember, I told you the assists went down. Jamal Murray with 1 assist. SGA had 4 turnovers. Jamal Murray took care of the ball better than the MVP candidate, SGA. 1 turnover with 12 assists. 1 turnover with 12 assists. They had a bad shooting night from Tim Hardaway Jr. That would have helped a lot. But for the most part, they got some stuff they got to figure out. They're going to be a good, hard team to go against in the playoff for sure. I mean, the way Watson is playing just changes everything with this squad if they don't screw it up. And it looks like SGA, it looks like Nikola Jokic is trying not to screw it up, because so far the only thing that hasn't changed with Jokic coming back is the production that Peyton Watson was given. He's still doing what he was doing. So they're going to have to keep figuring out ways that he can get his shots and get his spots. But now Jokic and Murray got to figure out that dynamic of, is Murray going to be the point guard or is Murray going to be the scorer? Because what was happening before that is Jokic decide from game to game or from quarter to quarter, he'll just all of a sudden be like, hey, I'm just going to pass. And then that automatically supposed to trigger, okay, well, Murray's got to be a scorer, because everybody else was just like decoys. Like, they have shooters out there. Your only job is to spread the floor, stand in the corner. We're running this 2-man game with Jokic and Jamal. And if you get an open 3 off of it, you take that open 3. But, people like Peyton Watson didn't have the freedom to go downhill with the ball, take 2-3 dribbles to get a shot, and do all these things, or get in the ISO situation and take his man one-on-one. He ain't had that type of freedom. He was just getting all his shots off of either Murray or Jokic assists, and it was mostly catch and shoots or slashes. No freedom to make a play on his own. No freedom to take more than 2 dribbles. But now that he showed everybody, look what I could do, it's kind of hard to put that back in the box. The cat is out of the bag now, so you got to kind of let him spin. And that's a given now. Now we got to figure out how we go handle Jokic and Murray. Which one of y'all gonna be the scorer? Which one of y'all gonna be the facilitator? Because Jokic can't do both of them. It don't make sense no more. It never did make sense, but he was doing it because that's an easy way to get stats and MVPs. Like, if you let him do both, we'll try to figure out how to win that way. Let's just do both, and we can get best of both worlds. We can win games, and we can get him the MVP. Right? That's the whole thing. But now the world done seen it. The world done seen what Murray and Peyton Watson can do. They ain't even seen what Michael Porter Jr. could do. They're like, man, even his fans is kind of like, and you can tell they're starting to see it too, because they're not talking. They're not talking about it. They're not talking about triple doubles and Jokic on off minutes. The funny thing about it during the game, they tried to, and you got to know that producers, even for when you call a game, producers have notes. They give them to you the day of or the day before. You study those notes, and it's so many things on the notes that they want you to say. Like they don't just show up to the arena and with a suit on and get in front of the mic and they just freestyling. That's not what they do. It's TV. This is entertainment. This is television. There's too much involved. It's a business. They're not letting you just talk, just freestyling, right? So the producers give you notes. Hey, here's a bunch of statistics that you can say during the game. I mean, it's like 3 hours of TV time that we don't want dead space. So if it ever get to a point where it's dead space, hey man, you can grab one of these stats and say it. Or if a player does something, hey, if he if he goes to the free throw line and you can say, hey man, here's a stat, man. He hasn't missed a free throw in the last 80 tries. His last 80, he's 100. You know what I'm saying? Like that has stuff notes and stuff like that. So the Jokic on off minute thing is something that's in the notes. They want you to talk about it and say it so much. The funny thing about it though is they tried to they had the bench out there. It was Hardaway, it was Tim Hardaway Jr., Spencer Jones, Najee, is this Najee Harris? No, that's the running back. Zeke Najee, Valanciunas, and I can't remember who the other was. It might have been Pickett. Right? They had that 5 bench players on the floor. 5 bench players. And had the nerve to talk about the Jokic on off minutes. And I'm sitting here like, you idiot. Do you not see that Murray and Watson is on the bench as well? So if you take first and foremost, the only starter that was on the bench on the floor was Pickett, and he's not even really a starter. But so you got virtually 5 bench players on the floor. Murray, who is the second best scorer, Payton Watson, who's the third best scorer, and Jokic, who's the first best scorer, all on the bench. And you calling this the Jokic on off minutes. So you can make Jokic look better. And I'm like, dude, they're putting Jokic on the bench at the same time they're putting Murray on the bench. Like, even Phil Jackson didn't do nothing that stupid. Like, Phil Jackson would have Shaq and Kobe on the floor. And then he would pull Kobe off a little early, let Shaq go an extra 2 minutes. And then when he pulled Shaq off the floor, he'll put Kobe back out there with a couple of minutes of rest. And then that's when Kobe can say, all right, we're running through me. But they don't do that in Denver. In Denver, they pull Jokic and Murray out sometimes almost at the same time. And I'm like, are y'all doing this just so the on-off minutes can look weird? And the commentators had the nerve to brag about it. But the funny thing, as a matter of fact, Murray and Jokic was on the bench. Payton Watson was still on the floor. And as soon as they said Jokic on-off minutes, they subbed Payton Watson out. He only stayed on there a couple of possessions without Jokic. And so he went to the bench as well. And the commentator had to come back and say, well, you know, he had to acknowledge that Murray and Watson is on the bench too. I mean, because it just felt dumb when he said it. But that's what they're talking about. But when you watch all these Denver Nuggets podcasts tonight or in the morning tomorrow, I guarantee you they're going to talk about those Jokic on-off minutes. And the crazy thing about it, the biggest run that they went on in the third quarter was with Jokic on the floor. You get what I'm saying? And Jokic was, I mean, it's just funny though, man. Jokic on-off minutes and he's coming off with the other starters. I mean, I just don't get it. I don't know why they do that. Jokic on-off minutes. X said, this is how most of Jokic on-off minutes arguments have always been, ignoring how the entire starting lineup sits when Jokic says, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not even smart, dog. It's not even smart. Zoe said she bracing herself for what this month will bring. the injury exposed his play style because the team showed that they could win games and play good without Jokic facilitating and setting everybody up. Absolutely. And I've been saying it for 3 years. I've been trying to tell people, but no, I mean, I'm like, man, I don't know how these professionals is really fooled by that. Oh man, SGA and his 3 refuse can do anything. 3 referees. SGA and his 3 refuse can do anything. I think you're trying to spell referees. Maybe. Yeah. You know what? I'll let T Mac say that. I think T Mac is speaking from a place of seeing a Uber athlete and seeing remnants of himself and Anthony Edwards, because T Mac was an Uber athlete himself. So I think he's just been a little biased with the Uber athlete he's seeing. Plus, he's also probably feeling like that SGA get enough love and Anthony Edwards not getting enough, and he want to be the person that at least shine a light on him. So people do stuff like that and don't know how to do it tactfully right now. You know what I mean? Like and he want to shine light on Anthony Edwards and show him some love, but he don't know how to do it without going to the extreme and saying, oh, he's better than SGA. Like he couldn't, and then he kind of backpedaled when he said and was like, he's right there. He was right there with SGA. He tried to backpedal. So, it is what it is. I get it. I get it. But I wouldn't say he's better than SGA. He was better than SGA for sure. The last game they played though. SGA fell into the trap of trying to. So when the playoffs between Minnesota and OKC happened last season, when it came down to shot making and it being a crucial point of the game when you need a shot from your best player, the places and the ways that SGA and Edwards was getting that shot was totally different. Edwards was trying to get all his shots by getting a screen at the high screen and roll and taking off full speed running toward the rim, and it was either the rim or a step back 3. He was either gonna get all the way to the rim, or if you stopped him, he was gonna step back in 3. That whole mid range was just not utilized, and then he wasn't utilizing any possibilities that he could get without the ball. Right, so it's so many ways you can get the ball below the free throw line, and it don't have to be with a dribble drive. And that's what Ed was doing. But what SGA was doing was, I'm not going to fight all this defense and try to get a high screen and roll and do dribble drive. I'm going to just go right here in the post. You're going to throw the ball to me, and I'm going to take one dribble and fade, or the double's going to come and I'm going to pass out of it, whatever the case may be. He posted in the high post by the elbow. He posted in the low post on the baseline. And sometimes he would come off screens and catch it. I mean, it was just so many ways that he was getting the ball in different spots. And it seems like he forgot that, that was his counter to everything. So I think this year he's really falling in love with the dribble drive and what he could do with the ball. And he just forgot that he, and I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to be getting away with doing something one way. And then when they cut that faucet off, you kind of forget what your backup plan used to be. Right. It has happened to me before. Like I had certain things in my repertoire, but I probably would get away with not using it for several games, maybe because I was playing people who couldn't stop it. And as soon as you get a team that stops it, you like, you forget that you had this other thing in your bag. I think that's what was wrong with him. And if you see how he came out this game, you could tell they went in the film and was like, look, this is what Minnesota was getting you in trouble at a lot. You got to have a counter to that, and that's why he was passing so much and finding so many open 3-point shooters. Like they probably went in film work and seen that he had a lot of opportunities for open shots if he would have gave the ball up against Minnesota, but he was trying to get to his spot in the mid range off the dribble drive and rise up and pull up, and they had an answer for it. So he came out today against Denver, man, and you could have seen in the first quarter, like he just kept finding people, and he was doing it all game, just finding people. Man, it was almost like he knew where the spots was going to be open at based on film study. So you could tell they did a heck of a coaching job, and a heck of an adjustment for the coaching staff and SGA. Yeah. Mel did a breakdown of Western Conference Final Series between SGA and I did do a breakdown for sure. I did. I remember that. The Thunder is a great team. They just need to keep their focus and heads in the right place. They get too distracted by narratives at times, and it hurts them. Yeah. Yeah, his playmaking was good. But, all right, man, that's all I wanted to get in here and talk about that, man. It was barbecue chicken for sure. Man, I think the MVP might be a wrap, man. I just don't see another candidate that could get it. It's definitely not a candidate in Denver. There may be one in Detroit. There may be one in Boston, but I don't see one in LA or in Denver. I just don't. I would love to recap that game with Luka, but that was barbecue chicken too, man. I mean, he just comes up and just jacks three. How many threes did he shoot tonight? SGA shot 2 threes. That's what I like to see. He got 34 points. Let me see how many threes Luka shot. I mean, it's gonna be the step back every single time. This man shot 14 threes. Lord have mercy. This man shot 14 threes tonight. He did all that for 30 points. And got 15 rebounds. I ain't see him box nobody out. Them rebounds are just falling to him. Like, these rebounds that these guys get now is tenderism, meat just falling off the bone. That's how the rebounds just falling in their hands, just falling off the rim. Tenderism. Rebounds like some tenderism, man. He got 15 of them tenderism rebounds. 14 threes is wild. And the crazy thing about it is the threes just be step backs. He don't even pass the 3-point line, get nowhere near the free throw line, get nowhere in the paint. The ball don't never move out of his hand. He just bring the ball up. And if you let him go left and lane left, he's gonna step back and pull the three. And he's daggone good at it because that shot be daggone lined up. He be hitting. I be like, dang, how you hit that? But then when he miss it, that junk is like turnovers, dog. It's like turnovers. Them rebounds be coming off, boom, and they just be getting down court. If I was that coach, I'd be like, look, you got to stop taking these threes, dog. If you like threes, then just be a 3-point shooter and let somebody else be the point guard, dog. Like, the point guards were smarter back in the day, man. Penny Hardaway did not play like that. And he was a 6'7" guy who would get a shot over anybody. He did not come. He knew he had Shaq on his team. If you let him talk, so listen to some interviews from Penny Hardaway. You let him talk, and he talk about how, before the draft, he said that when he was doing the movie Blue Chips, and Shaq tells this story too, Shaq didn't know who Penny was. He played at Memphis. Not a lot of people knew. I didn't know who he was either. I knew who Chris Webber was, but I didn't know nothing about no Penny. But his agent had got him that movie with Blue Chips. He shows up and it's Shaq there, and Shaq gets the movie too. And he knew Orlando had that number 1 pick, and he thought about what it would be like if he played with Shaq. So when they would scrimmage like real games, I guess they was playing real games to get that footage for those scrimmages they had on the movie. And or either maybe they was just playing and they wasn't filming, but nonetheless they was playing on set. And Penny said that his goal was, I want to show Shaquille O'Neal, I can get him the ball, and I'm not even going to look for my shot. I'm going to find the big fella every chance I get. And so Penny told that story, and then you hear Shaq tell his side of the story, and he said that he seen who this point guard was at 6'7" that was passing the ball like this, and was like, yo, who's this? Because that was set on drafting Chris Webber, and that was going to be Shaq and Chris Webber, twin towers. Chris Webber was the best player coming out of the draft. So it was going to be Shaq and Chris Webber, twin towers in Orlando. Shaq said after he seen Penny on the set, he called his I don't know if he called his agent or he called the GM or the Magic and said, "Yo, I want this Penny Hardaway kid. I want this Penny Hardaway kid." And that's why they did their due diligence, and when they did the draft for Webber, they made the trade with Golden State for Penny. They drafted Webber, Golden State drafted Penny, and they swapped it. You know, so you got to listen to Shaq tell that story and Penny tell that story. Look it up, Google it, look on YouTube, find it, find when they told those stories on those. I can't remember the podcast, but it was a heck of a story. But the point is this: even though Penny was a daggone bucket, he was like, "I'm the freaking point guard. Like that's supposed to mean something, dog. I'm the point guard. Really? Like, nah, dog. Yeah, I got Shaq on this squad. That's no way. You know, and if I want to shoot 14 or 15 threes, come off the ball. Because if you shooting 14 or 15 threes and you're the one that's initiating the offense, but you're getting 14 threes off a game, my offense ain't getting ran. I don't know many coaches that don't want their offense ran. Eric Spoelstra, all the great coaches, Eric Spoelstra, even Steve Kerr, even though you know I dislike a lot of stuff he do, he's strict. He want his offense ran. I want my offense ran. Pat Riley want his offense ran. Phil Jackson, Greg Popovich, Mark Jackson, all the strong-minded coaches want, even Stan Van Gundy in Atlanta. I want my offense ran the way I designed it. We're not running my best players' favorite sets that get him all the points that he want to get. We're running my offense. But JJ Redick's not doing that, and I've yet to see any coach that coach Luka that does that. They run Luka offense, which is Luka, you got the ball. We're going to spread the floor, put two people in the corner, two shooters in the corner. We're going to put one shooter on the arc, and then we're going to have someone come set a screen for you in the middle of the floor every play. And we'll just get everything off of that. We were running one play the entire game. One play that got two or three options on it, depending on how the defense reacts to it. That's all we're doing all game. And everybody's got to be satisfied with that. And Luke is going to be the one that's going to make all the passes for everyone's shots. Right? That's boring and old, man. That's sad. You get what I'm saying? So Luka and Jokic, the more they come off the ball and let their point guards be point guards, I think it's going to be better for them. And they might have a little bit of energy to play some defense. You know, but it is what it is. It is what it is, man. All right, y'all. I'll catch y'all tomorrow. Peace.